post-punky goodness. Hello, welcome back here with me.
Icy Snap.
Welcome to this high vis review, who I had the pleasure of seeing recently at Gillette Square here in London, which was a really good gig. They were awesome. So who are High Vis? High Vis, of course, being a British post-punk band formed in the late 2010s. Many of the members were in previous bands and then came together to make this super band, High Vis. I've said about High Vis about 100 times now. I'm going to say it 100 times more, probably. Sorry about that. Some of which I'm acquainted with. Humble brag. I say that like I've met them and I've been to their gigs, that kind of thing, not like they're my friends or anything. So I promise I'm not actually being biased on this album. I actually genuinely like it. Their music blends this urgency of like post-punk with indie, alternative rock, shoegaze maybe, creating this like dynamic mix of aggression and introspection. You know, lyrically, High Vis often explore important themes of like poverty, working class struggles, social alienation, mental health, personal growth, the heavy shit. Offering raw emotion and social commentary all in one. They were introduced with their debut album No Sense, No Feeling, which was hard-hitting, nice rhythms and melodic guitar work, whilst their follow-up Blending in 2022, I believe, further developed their sound, adding more of an atmospheric layer to it. High Vis stand out to me with their ability to like balance intensity with vulnerability, making them a powerful presence in the modern post-punk scene, especially in the UK anyway. So, High Vis with their new album, A Guided Tour. What's interesting is they've kept that post-punk aesthetic without being like overtly aggressive, but that lack of aggression doesn't withhold the emotion or the messages that High Vis are trying to convey. If anything, it feels way more against the grain than so many of the bands that are out there now. Starting off the album strong with Guided Tour, having a bit of a Britpop feel to it, feels a bit slower but retains that energy in the vocals, beckoning you as your guide, as the song title suggests, to the tight drums that progress and keep that really nice rhythm, to the guitar which is carrying the song's melody. Overall, a really decent start to the album. Then directly after this, we're greeted with something slightly heavier on Drop Me Out. Even though it's heavy, there's still a clear distinction between all the elements. Here and there feeling a little bit muddy maybe, but it's actually not too bad. I enjoyed the vocal melody on this song too. Apparently chaotic, but with a clear catchy vibe. Worth the wait and Feeling Blessed falling into a similar territory. Both pretty decent in terms of themselves, but still feeling a bit uninteresting compared to the other two songs anyway. And I think that's the issue, is that those two songs were so good that these don't feel up to it in comparison. Instrumentally really nice, vocals too. Again, just leaving me wanting something more from those first two songs. And then we come to Fill the Gap. Instrumentally feeling so textured, especially those guitars that you hear. Then that cymbal or hi-hat going on in the background, it's just pure sugar to my ears. Love that. Ski with the drums feeling really energetic, they're punchy, the fills are really interesting and nice. And then we have the vocals in the middle sitting at quite a distance, which is quite interesting. Lyrically quite thought-provoking too, as is so much of the album. How I see it is like a bit of self-hate going on, even if you think you should deserve more, feeling guilty that you even thought that way about yourself, you know. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then we're introduced to a short interlude, Farringdon. It's gritty, it's atmospheric, nothing really of note more to say about it really. Then onto one of the leading songs in the album, Mob DLA. If you know, you know. Aptly named song for those who are sick of the people who run the UK. You know, it's about people at the bottom, the working class, a topic of which we're all kind of going through. It's getting harder to live, right? Nothing's really going to change unless you do something about it. They owe you more than a fucking living. Guitars are angry and heavy, just as you like them, really showing that frustration that comes across in the lyrics, and that also comes through in the drums and vocals obviously. Chorus especially goes quite hard, and honestly these little guitar riffs that happen every now and then and throughout the whole album have been pretty good. Then we come on to Untethered, bringing the volume and tempo down a little bit. An okay song overall. I like the experimentation with the delay on the vocals, sounding really kind of nice, and similar sentiments with the next song, Deserve It. Again, that territory of it's a pretty decent song but nothing's really standing out to me. Unlike the next song though, where I think this just like turns up everything to like 10, with Mine's a Lie, which is like a standout song on this album. It's clearly a post-punk song, but it follows this electronic vibe that you would hear on Joy Division or The Cure maybe. Sitting below these harsh lyrics and vocal tones from Graham, it feels unique and quite refreshing. It has lots of elements like these acoustic drums that seemingly sound like they were programmed, or this choppy vocal sample that layers the high frequencies, and then Graham's vocal harmony that leads you out at the end. Brilliant song. And finally, we are at the last track, Gone Forever, which again is like a really good song too. That striking guitar that sort of slaps you on the face to the left that's being played in by these drums. It's a fast-paced song full of emotional timbre. I haven't touched on the bass yet, but the bass is actually really good throughout the album. I feel like you don't notice it too much, and that's what makes it so good. It doesn't take you away from anything. It's not overbearing, or it's like, it just totally carries the instrumentation like as it's supposed to do, you know? It's probably doing a really good job if it's not protruding in a bad way. The lyrics are heavy as they should be about war and pacifism. You know, in the face of tyrants and shit people, you're not really going to win if you just sit there being neutral, you know? What do I know? I loved this album. So much of it sounds so good. It's nice to hear something a bit different coming from the post-punk scene that feels a bit more fresh than usual. It's no wonder these guys are coming to the mainstream, really. Lyrically relevant and real whilst being melodically catchy and upbeat even, but being moody when need be. Instrumentation as a whole is something to be envious of. There's a few songs here and there that just feel as they are pretty good nonetheless, but compared to so much of the rest of the album, they just don't stand out, unfortunately. So with all of that, I would easily give this album an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you listened to it. Did you enjoy it? Let me know below. And yeah, leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever you like. And yeah, hopefully see you on the next one. Thank you very, very much.